Welcome back to our channel, soap fans. Today is a beautiful, drama-filled day to dive deep into the absolute madness that just went down in Port Charles. Grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's unpack the absolute chaos we just witnessed because there is so much to discuss and dissect. The camera pans across the sparkling Metro Court pool, the summer sun reflecting off the water, but the temperature drops to absolute zero the second Ethan Lovett's eyes lock onto a ghost from his past. A single, terrifying glance shatters the illusion of safety, triggering a frantic, desperate flight that leaves a trail of broken promises, furious women, and an innocent baby sitting in the crosshairs of a mystery that is about to explode. I cannot even process what I just watched. I am sitting here staring at my screen, completely dumbfounded. Did they really just do that? Did we seriously just get a highly publicized recast for Ethan Lovett only to have him literally sprint out of town 3 days later? I have been watching this show since 2015, and I have seen some wild, inexplicable casting choices in my time. But this takes the absolute cake. Christian Howard just took over the role of Ethan from Nathan Dean on Monday, July 22nd. We were all just settling in, getting used to the new face, trying to figure out his chemistry with the rest of the canvas, and by Thursday, he is packing his bags and fleeing Port Charles like his shoes are on fire. What in the actual world was the point of that? And it happened so fast. It was like blink and you miss it fast. Christian Howard's run as Ethan Lovett is already over. Done. Finished. Kaput. It feels like an emergency recast situation, right? Like, they needed a physical body to film these specific exit scenes because Nathan Dean couldn't do it for whatever reason, so they brought in Christian Howard just to wrap up the storyline and get Ethan off the canvas. But it is so incredibly jarring. I know some people are loving the fast-paced, breathless drama of it all, but personally, I feel like I got whiplash. You don't just introduce a new actor on Monday and have him board a plane on Thursday. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's rewind and break down the actual scene at the Metro Court pool, because the tension in that moment was absolutely thick. Ethan is just standing there, probably plotting his next grift, or figuring out how to keep Ava Jerome off his back, and then he sees Hudson. Troy Lennon Appel makes his debut as this mysterious, intimidating businessman, and the second Ethan spots him, he completely freezes. The blood literally drained from his face. It was a great piece of acting by Christian Howard. I will give him that. But did you catch where Hudson was looking? He wasn't just casually scanning the pool for an empty lounge chair. He was looking directly toward Brooklyn Quartermaine and baby Phoebe. This is the smoking gun, people. We all know Ethan has been running a massive, illegal scam regarding Phoebe's. He broke into the PCPD, stole cold case evidence, faked a DNA test with Elizabeth Baldwin, and claimed to everyone that he had a one-night stand with the late Delilah Wilson. He has been aggressively selling this lie that he is the biological father, pushing for a closed adoption to cover his tracks. But Hudson's arrival proves what we all suspected. Ethan is terrified of whoever the real father is. Hudson knows the truth. Hudson is either the real father, or he works as an enforcer for the monster who is, and Ethan knows that if Hudson catches him, he is a dead man walking. The fact that Hudson was eyeing Brooklyn and that baby means the adoption that Chase and BLQ are so happily planning is built on a ticking time bomb. Ethan isn't just running for his life. He is leaving Brooklyn and Chase completely exposed to whatever dark, dangerous underworld Hudson represents. Ethan brought this danger to their doorstep, handed them a baby tied to a criminal enterprise, and then tucked his tail and ran. I mean, how cowardly can you get? And can we please talk about Ava Jerome for a second? I'm sorry, but you do not stand up Ava Jerome. Ethan was supposed to meet her at the pool. Ava has been holding his faked paternity secret over his head for weeks, engaging in this incredibly tense, flirtatious blackmail dynamic. She was waiting for him, probably ready to squeeze some more leverage out of him or force him into some new scheme, and he just ghosts her. The sheer disrespect. Ava's reaction was absolute gold, though. When she realized she had been stood up and later told Danny to throw a drink in Ethan's face if he ever shows his face in town again, I actually cheered at my television. Ava doesn't get played like that. But honestly, it shows just how terrified Ethan is of Hudson. Ethan Lovett, a man who has conned mobsters and survived international syndicates, would rather face the wrath of a scorned, blackmailing Ava Jerome than spend one more second in the same zip code as Hudson. Ava is dangerous, but Hudson must be lethal. If Hudson comes sniffing around the Jerome Art Gallery looking for Ethan, Ava might just sell Ethan out to save her own skin. Or worse, she might team up with Hudson. Can you imagine Ava and Hudson forming an alliance? I am totally here for it, but I am also dreading what it means for the rest of the... So Ethan bolts from the pool and runs straight to Lulu's place to pack his bags. This scene was so chaotic and deeply emotional. Ethan is just frantically throwing clothes into a duffel bag, lying through his teeth to his own sister, telling Lulu that he has a lead on an opportunity he couldn't pass up. An opportunity? Yeah, right. The opportunity to not get murdered by a mysterious businessman. Lulu is standing there, completely overwhelmed and confused. She has been dealing with so much heavy trauma lately. She is fighting a bitter custody battle over Charlotte. She is dealing with the fallout of the WSB conspiracies, and now her brother is just abandoning her out of nowhere. The betrayal in Lulu's eyes was palpable. She knows Ethan is a grifter. She knows he has a loose relationship with the truth. But abandoning his family when things get tough? That is a low blow. But the most crucial part of that entire exchange was Lulu's warning. She looks Ethan dead in the eye and tells him that people don't simply walk away from Sonny Corinth. Wait, what? Sonny is involved in this? My jaw hit the floor. We know Sonny is currently dealing with Jen Sidwell and trying to buy back his peers with Rick Lansing's help, but how on earth is Ethan tangled up in Sonny's mob business? Did Ethan borrow money from Sonny to fund his fake paternity scam? Did he cross one of Sonny's associates? Did Delilah Wilson have ties to the Corinthos organization? Lulu dropping Sonny's name implies that Ethan's unfinished business isn't just about Hudson and baby Phoebe. It is tied directly to the most dangerous mob boss in Port Charles. You don't just pack a duffel bag and outrun Sonny Corinthos. This proves that Christian Howard's exit was a hastily written escape hatch for a character who was ridden into a corner with absolutely no way out. If Sonny puts Brick on Ethan's trail, Ethan won't make it past the Canadian border. Brick tracked Britt and Rocco all the way to the British Virgin Islands. He can certainly find a panicked grifter running from a casino. Am I the only one who feels like the Port Charles population is dropping like flies lately? Ethan's abrupt exit perfectly fits this weird, depressing pattern we've been seeing over the last few. First, we get the devastating news that Maxie Jones, Spinelli, Georgie, James, and Bailey Louise have permanently packed up and moved to Australia. I mean, I get it. Kirsten Storms is dealing with personal stuff and isn't returning for the foreseeable future, so the writers had to write Maxie out gracefully. Sending them off for an incredible job opportunity for Spinelli makes narrative sense. But it still hurts. We lost a massive legacy character family in the blink of an eye. The canvas feels so empty without Maxie's chaotic energy at descent. And then, right on the heels of the Maxie exit, we lose Ryan Pavey. The whole Cassius Faison posing as Nathan West storyline was absolute peak soap opera drama. We were all on the edge of our seats watching him deceive everyone, especially poor Liesel, Obrecht, and James. But then his identity is exposed, he fakes his death, vanishes into thin air to work as a ghost for WSB head Z, and Ryan Pavey is gone to film a holiday movie. So, in the span of a few short weeks, we have lost Maxie's entire family, Cassius Faison, and now Ethan Lovett. The canvas is bleeding characters right now, and Christian Howard's brief appearance fits right into that frantic revolving door pattern. Sometimes I contradict myself because I love fast-paced storylines, but this is just too fast. I want to savor the drama. I wanted to see Ava completely destroy Ethan with her blackmail. I wanted to see Harrison Chase's face when he realized the baby he is fostering with Brooke Lynn is tied to a stolen PCPD evidence box. Chase is a cop, for crying out loud. He has been so distracted by his hatred for Michael Corinthos and his weird hero complex with Willow Kane that he hasn't even noticed his own wife's shady dealings or the fact that their foster baby is a mob target. Ethan leaving town means we don't get the satisfaction of watching Ethan face the mirror. He just gets to run away, leaving everyone else to clean up his massive. Let's talk more about Hudson, because Troy Lennon Appel is bringing some serious, heavy menace to this role. He didn't even have to say a single word to Ethan to send him packing. That is pure, unadulterated power. Hudson is clearly a fixer or an enforcer for whoever Delilah Wilson was involved with. Remember when they tried this kind of mysterious enforcer storyline back with Cyrus Renault's early days in Port Charles? Yeah, it was terrifying then, and it is terrifying now. Hudson calling around town trying to track Ethan down means this storyline isn't over just because Ethan left. Hudson is going to stay in Port Charles, and he is going to start digging. And when he digs, he is going to find Brooke, Lynn, and Chase. I am officially terrified for Brooklyn Quartermaine. She is already drowning in her own guilt and lies. She framed Willow for the Route 91 crash that injured Jordan and Curtis. She confessed to Chase that she framed Willow, but she conveniently left out the part where she was the actual hit-and-run driver. Brooklyn's entire life is a fragile house of cards right now. Her marriage to Chase is hanging by a thread. She is fighting a vicious corporate war at deception against Lucy Coe and Serena Baldwin. And now, thanks to Ethan's cowardly exit, she has a dangerous businessman named Hudson circling her foster baby. Brooklyn is going to lose everything. And honestly, part of me thinks she deserves it for what she did to Willow and Jordan. Framing an innocent woman to cover your own drunk driving is villain behavior. But I don't want baby Phoebe to get hurt. Phoebe is an innocent child caught in the middle of Ethan's scam, Brooklyn's desperation, and Hudson's dark agenda. If Hudson decides to take that baby back to whoever he works for, Chase is going to have to go to war to protect. And with Dante stepping down, and Anna Devane dealing with her own severe Peter August hallucinations as the new police commissioner, the PCPD is in no shape to handle a highly trained operative like... Okay, back to the main point. Christian Howard's run as Ethan Lovett was a blip on the radar. 3 days. It has to be a daytime television record. It was a purely functional, emergency recast to get the character off the screen so the writers could shift the focus to Hudson and the impending danger surrounding baby Phoebe. It feels cheap, it feels incredibly rushed, but I cannot deny that it sets up a massive, explosive storyline for the rest of the... I just wish we had more time to see the fear in Ethan's eyes before he ran. But that is soap operas. One day you are sipping martinis at the Metro Court, plotting your next blackmail scheme with Ava Jerome, and the next day you are fleeing a mob enforcer and abandoning your... I know some people are loving the introduction of Hudson and the mystery he brings, but personally, I am just frustrated that Ethan got to escape without answering. He stole from the police, he lied to a grieving family, and he put a baby in danger. And now he is gone. But Hudson is here, and Port Charles is about to find out exactly what kind of monster Ethan was running from. Will Hudson tear the Quartermaine family apart to get to baby Phoebe, or will Chase uncover the dark truth before it's too late? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.